How you doing, everybody? We just got back from the range. Went out there and tried to do a couple ladder tests with my 223 Wylde, which I've recently barreled with that 24-inch heavy barrel that I got from Midway. A couple of us have those things, and trying to get some loads up on it. And I've got the gun barrel broke in, pretty much set up, ready to roll. I'm trying to do some load development now. I'm doing the ladder tests on these. Shot 20 rounds today. 10 of them were with the Sierra 80 grain hollow point boat tails, Match Kings, and 10 of them were with the 77 grain hollow point boat tails, Match Kings again. Pretty much I'd warmed the barrel up and make sure I had a half decent zero with some of these 75 Hornadays. And started off at 22 grains and worked to 24 grains with small steps in between. And this is the 77s that I shot. I don't know if you can see that there. Kind of half made up a little chart to see where they were grouping, and you can see a couple of them were out of there a little bit, and some of them were in there pretty good. And this is about 115 yards is where our target frame is set up at. The 80s shot a little bit better. There again, from 22 to 24 grain, pretty much the same charge. You can see our chart kind of coming up in, a nice little flat spot there, a little flat spot there, and that is 10 shots. I had a couple of them. I couldn't tell where they went because they went in the same bullet hole, and I was just hoping that they were all still there, and they were there. So that's a pretty interesting load with the 80s already. And that's a spread of two grains in powder with the Varget, so that's actually starting to look kind of promising. I'd like to get him up here around 2,700 feet though, so I might have to try to come up, load a few more above that to see where I can get. I got pretty close. It's at 24 grains. I was at 2692. So I might try to sneak up a little bit more, maybe get up close to 24.5 grains and see what it'll do with those. But so far that's looking kind of promising for the 80 grains. Now these things are all seated full length pretty much. I cannot get them in a magazine, so I'm single loading them. I'm running 20 thousandths off the lands on both the 77s and the 80s, just as a place to start. 20 thousandths is usually kind of a good number for me, and a good area to start, I feel. So that's pretty much what our day was. It took me about an hour and a half to do that, and now I've got some good data to go on. I marked where every one of those shots went on a separate target as I was shooting them, and monitored everything using our magneto speed. Which I kind of like using that because it works every time. I don't get any errors. I don't have any problem with sun or anything. So I run some good data. I have compared that with with other chronos, even with our lab radar. I've actually tried to compare it with that. But this thing seems to be the most consistent. When I'm doing load development like this, I really like to have that consistency. So we'll go on from there. I'm going to try, might sneak in here with these 77s and try something right around in here. Which, like I said, is still a little slow. 25, 50s, somewhere in there. I prefer to get them up, up in here because I'm wanting to really stretch them out. The 80s, I might do the same thing. I might play around with it a little bit in the middle zone there where it kind of peaked out, but I'm going to actually try to see if I can't get another one up here. The 77's got a little fast. We're at 7330 up here. No signs of pressure on these things. The primers still look good. They're not cratering up, no marks on the brass. So I might try to sneak these numbers up a little bit and see what I can get out of, if I can find another plateau a little bit further up.